Good morning. How the devil are we? I would have showed you my coffee, but I drank it. We have a new coffee machine, which is well overdue. The rationale was I had a Smeg, and I made out of 3 years of having that Smeg, I probably made one decent coffee. I couldn't get it right. So, and also Nespresso. I've come to the very harsh realization that Nespresso coffee is basically instant coffee. Like when you think about it, it's literally just instant coffee. And I'm a bit of a coffee slut, a coffee whore, a coffee connoisseur. So we went and got that. So there's your update. We just had meal one, which of course was a protein bar, and we're gonna go and train pull at Kratos. We're gonna walk you through that situation. Pre-workout, we've obviously had coffee for caffeine. We've also got the pump formula from Ghost, which is very good, yeah. And then also we have the EAA from, it's a bit too glary, but we got the EAA from Supplement Leads, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Supplement Leads taste at all. I think they are hot garbage, but we're gonna rinse through that. And then we're going to go from there. See you at the gym! Hey up, pet, it's me, Chewbacca from Space Film. Hope you're well. We are going to get into today's topic, which is going to be basically how to build a back if you have a shit back. Now, I had a shit back. I've got a pretty good back now because of these tips, right? So listen the fuck in. Not to say I've got the best back in the whole entire world, but from where it was is a stark difference. Now, I'm going to say something off the bat that's going to basically change your game, right, in terms of back training. And that's basically stop looking at isolating one thing, right? With back training, you want to fucking maximize everywhere. He says whilst doing a cable pullover. But essentially, the majority of your fucking movements for back should be attacking other things. SA lat pull downs are great, but again, they're just isolating such a small muscle group. Well, so a small muscle group, that's quite big. They're isolating one muscle group. You want to, for the majority of your movements, you want to be maximizing everything, right? Your back isn't just your lats, right? It's rhomboids, traps, erectors, lats as well. So things like T-bar row, for example, are going to be systemically growing your back. Bent over row, same thing. That's the bread and butter of your back training. It should be, right? It's not going to be fucking cuffed, isometric. No. Back is basically, back and quads, hamstrings as well, they're built off just brute force, fucking just heavy lifting, training to failure. That's how to grow a back, right? So things like this where lat pull downs and stuff like that, if I pick a SA lat pull down here, I am isolating the lat. If I pick something like this, which is very neutral grip, it's going to be isolating the lat, but I'm also hitting mid back, I'm also hitting erectors. To some level at the top, I'm also hitting traps. So at every level with your exercise selection, you must think, am I isolating one specific area? Yes, no, maybe. If the answer is yes, I would probably isolate other areas. Now, it's not to say you can't isolate things like lats. For instance, this single arm variation is isolating lats. If you have really shit lats. Now, I'm basically paying the price for years and years and years and years of not being able to train my lats. What I'm saying by that is I was doing absolute fuckery to train my lats, right? And I'm paying for it now. But the vast majority, the bread and butter of your training should be just systemic growth everywhere, right? That's your whole entire goal of back training. I think people are so anal nowadays about hitting every single muscle group in the whole entire back, and it's not how backs are built. It might be how chests are built, for example, because there's such a finite, they kind of only run one way, right? So they run like this. They basically, I suppose, adduct, right, and abduct, right? Whereas the back is just you've got you've got different sections, but in order to isolate, for instance, the mid back, you're going to be doing some absolute fuckery to try and isolate that section. So what I'm saying by that is choose exercise selection or choose exercises that just grow everywhere, you know? With things like biceps and stuff like that, you can obviously isolate biceps. It's very hard to it's not hard to bring other muscle groups in, you just bend at the knee. But with back, it's one of the ones where the old school bro bodybuilders, the ones that everyone says that train like shit, the ones that everyone says is suboptimal for muscle growth, They're the dudes you should be listening to, not the fucking like biomechanics freak who's trying to suppress the trap whilst trying to have the rhomboids tuck in. It's like, just fucking train. That's the biggest piece of advice I would give to someone who is looking to grow their back. It's just ignore all the shit about like this new school bodybuilding age and just be fucking brutal in the gym, right? Absolutely brutal, right? My training for back is basically like start with a lat variation just to warm up everything. I would then start with a big systemic movement like bent over row, T-bar row. I would then move on to another kind of lat variation that's keying into other areas of my back, and then I'll go for something like an upper back row. So I'm basically attacking the whole fucking back if I'm not hinging. If I'm hinging, that brings on another element of back training, right? So my biggest piece of advice is what I'm saying here, and the whole reason for this vlog is stop trying to isolate back if you want to grow a back. That's basically it. Anyway, that's the vlog. Prime must be a fucking millionaire. But yeah, you know, I made that vlog last week about like demotivation and stuff like that, and it's funny because essentially like this week has probably been one of the best weeks of training I've had. So in a while, not ever. So yeah, it's funny like motivation just comes and goes. You gotta stick at it, boo. You can't just give up at this first sign of like being demotivated, right? Because it'll always come back, always. So yeah. Hey, before we love and leave you, we did a giveaway on the last, I suppose not last vlog. It was like 3 vlogs ago, and I did the spinny wheel thing. I essentially put all of your names who entered correctly. There was a lot of entries, but some people didn't DM on Instagram. So yeah, essentially I've just done the spinny wheel thing, and yeah, one of my clients, Jamal, you've won. So yeah, obviously we talk on WhatsApp. So yeah, I'll send you whichever fucking ghost product you want. I think it was going to be protein, right? So yeah, we'll do a few more giveaways when we hit the 1500 mark. So yeah, tell your friends that there's a fucking ginger guy who's sick and he's got really big arms telling you how to get jacked. And then when we get to 1500, there'll just be more giveaways. 2000, more giveaways. As we get higher and higher and higher, the prizes get bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, anyway, hope you all. And that was today's vlog.